What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about why it's a bad idea for Predator Hunting Grounds to not have a beta. Now, this is going strictly off, I believe the art director said in an interview recently, actually, just a few weeks ago, that it was not in the plans, that a beta, an open beta at least, was not in the plans for Predator Hunting Grounds. But then kind of contradicted himself later on in the interview by saying that he is looking, or they are in general looking for feedback, and they will be looking for feedback opportunities. So I don't necessarily know if that means just playtesting, or if there's like a closed beta that you have to be invited in, or however they do it. Here's the deal. I want a beta. I think the game needs a beta, and if it doesn't have a beta, I think honestly that's a really bad idea. Friday the 13th had a beta, if we all remember going into it, and just in general, I think for this kind of game, a beta honestly is necessary. We've talked a lot about my specific. If you guys have watched the other videos, welcome back. One of the reoccurring things I keep saying in these videos is my concern, and I think it's warranted. I think I'm allowed to feel worried and concerned about this game because I want this game, just like all of you guys, we're in the same boat. I want this game to be very, very good. Cyberpunk 2077 just got delayed. In my time that I'm recording this a few weeks ago, it got delayed today. So that's terrible. That's awful. But now pretty much April, for me, is going to be, at least the second half of April, is going to be just playing Predator, which is awesome in that way. That's actually a really great thing for Predator's sake, but I just want it to be the best game it can possibly be. And we know from these developers that there are problems, especially with how the game runs. You can debate, I'm sure, whether or not these games are fun, whether or not these games are good or not. That's totally up to you. But I think one thing we can kind of all agree on is that the game, Friday the 13th, does not run well whatsoever, right? And it didn't run well when it first came out. It was atrocious, and it still kind of is to this day. And I've said in these past videos, I don't want that to happen. That's all I want. I don't want it to happen to Predator. And I think a beta is a fantastic way of testing those things, right? Stress tests on your servers to see if they can end up holding it. And another thing is, you have play testers, you have QA people that come in there and that play these games and answer a bunch of questions and do all these kind of things, and that's all fine and good. But it's different from those people, and I'm not saying they don't do a good job. A lot of them do a fantastic job. But there's a difference between those people and then giving it to the community, the people that really care about this game, us that have been talking about it on YouTube, and I'm only one of many, and I don't even really talk about it all that much, right? I'm sure there's other channels that talk about this game quite a bit, but give it to us. I'm not saying specifically pick it, I'm saying the community. Give it to the community. Allow us to play it in an open beta. It's very rare that a game would just say, okay, everybody can play it. There are some games that do that. Sometimes Ubisoft games will do that. Sometimes Sony first-party games that have multiplayer elements, they'll do that. But for a game like this, I don't exactly think that'll happen. I think a closed beta that if you're pre-ordering the game, if you've pre-ordered it, if you're going to be getting it, then you get access to the closed beta. I think that's fine, right? That seems like a thing that a lot of games, and that doesn't seem like it is. A lot of games do that, where you pre-order this game, you get access to the beta. I believe Marvel's Avengers, another game that got delayed to September, that's the same thing. If you pre-order the game, you'll be in the beta. And it's just good all around, right? It's not just test. And by the way, that's another thing too. I have confidence that this game is going to play well, like the gameplay mechanics are going to be solid. But at the same time, we don't know that for sure. What I've stressed the most is that I want the servers to work. I don't want it taking 5 minutes to join a match. I want everything to work when the game starts. I don't want things going through things and just a mess, many glitches, all that kind of stuff. I don't want that. But it would be nice to test things out. You saw on Friday the 13th, and I think it's a thing with all of these kind of games, even you see with like Dead by Daylight, you have to be able to figure out what, there's all the internal numbers, right? All of the coding of the killer, or the predator in this case, right? Predator versus the people that are hunting him. And how does that work? Is he going to be too overpowered in the very beginning? Or are they going to have to kind of nuke him? Is it going to be the other way around? So stuff like that. And again, yes, they can do it themselves. I'm sure they play the game a lot of times with these kind of games. Like, they play the game every single day. I know that a lot of multiplayer games, the whole team will sometimes come together for a few hours a day and just play the game and get feedback that way. I'm sure they're doing that too. But again, It's just not necessarily a handful of people, but it's just one group. It's literally the people that made the game. They can be biased, they can be swayed, and it's just a very, I don't know how many people work there, but let's say, let's go a really high number, like under 300, and I'm sure it's probably less than that. But you have like that. There's going to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that are going to buy this game. So you have to take that into account. So again, I'm basically just giving all the reasons why betas are good. I think we all know what a beta can do for a game, right? It's to get out there. And also that's the final part, right? It's to test the servers. It's to see, maybe he's a little bit too powerful. Maybe he's a little too weak. Maybe this gun needs to be upped a little bit because it's not doing enough damage. Maybe, all of those kind of things. But for lastly, but not the least important, is hype. You get the game out there, you get people playing it, you get people on YouTube having these playthroughs, you have like the funny moments, you have like these epic moments, you have all of this kind of stuff, and that builds up excitement because now you get to see the game. Again, remember Friday the 13th, Ohm was a big Ohm wrecker on YouTube. Big, I think probably the main Friday the 13th player, or at least like his videos would do the best. And he started out right at the beta. He played a couple rounds of it, a bunch with his friends too, like Delirious, Minilad, a lot of them. They played it quite a bit. It didn't drive all of the excitement, but it was a thing that you went on YouTube, and if you followed him or if you knew Friday the 13th was coming and you were interested, now you got to see it, got a couple million views, right? And it's like, wow, people are really, really excited for this game, built a lot of interest, and then the game comes out, and then a ton of people bought that game, and that game sold so well upon release. And it's not just because of that, but that definitely didn't hurt it, right? Because also you have to kind of take it easy on a game. They have that thing too. You kind of take it easy on the game in a beta. It's a very kind of safe way of promoting your game because you're showing it and people can latch on to the good. And if they say anything bad, well, they could always say back, well, it's just the beta. Like, we're going to fix it by the time the game comes out. Now, whether or not they do that, that is a totally different story. For Friday the 13th, a lot of the stuff that was broken in the beta wasn't all that fixed on day one. It wasn't really fixed by like month 2 or 3. But again, that's like another story, right? But that is a problem. That was a problem with Friday the 13th. That's why I don't want that to happen to Predator. But it's the same kind of thing here. You play the game, people are seeing it, they're like, wow, it's awesome, like, I like it. And then they're like, well, I don't necessarily like this or that. And they could say, well, like, we're working on it, right? Super safe way. All alphas and betas are kind of like that. So, again, moral of the story, I hope he's not telling the truth, or I hope he's hiding it. I hope he's purposely lying, or I hope it was just misinterpreted what he said, that, they are hopefully going to do some, because again, I think he specifically said the word beta, that it's not going to happen, but he then was saying we want like feedback from people. You don't really get feedback from people if they don't actually get to play it. So hopefully it's like a closed beta situation for anybody that's pre-ordered the game. I think that would be the smartest and easiest thing to do. It would be also not that many people, right? Because there's people that buy the game, and that's a lot less amount of people than that pre-order the game, and then you're not getting literally everybody in the world. It also still is only on PS4 and the PC, so it's a smaller group, even though PlayStation is more than doubled Xbox. But, so I think it's a very smart idea that they have it. I think it's going to do nothing but help them. I think if they don't have it, it honestly is going to hurt them, because now we're going to go into the main game day one. We know what to expect, sure, but are they going to deliver it? And then if the servers just crash, they can't handle the people, or if things are just all over the place where guns are doing too much damage, too little damage, there's things flying into other things, right? The glitches, the Predator's too overpowered, the Predator's too underpowered, all of these things that could happen day one. And then you could say this really could have used a beta for like a week and a half. I mean, some betas even only go a couple days. Some betas are only like 2-3 days, like on a weekend or on like a Wednesday to Friday or something like that. Like, betas do that. In the past year, betas have done that, where it's only a very small area of time that they do it, and that's it, right? You jump in, you play it, and then you get out. So, I don't know. I think it's a really, really good idea that they do it. I think it's going to hurt them if they don't. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Do you think Predator is going to get a beta, whether, again, be open or closed? What are you thinking about the game? Let me know all those things in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed and have that bell icon hit. We cover the Predator quite often on this channel. We definitely will be continuing that as we get closer to the game. I'll be playing it day one. We'll be giving it away. We'll be having tons of videos on the game, so lots of Predator content coming to the channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.